How's it going, everyone? I'm Brad, she's Chloe, and this is Tallulah. Today, we're going to talk about how we bought this house and how you can too. We're going to dive into the numbers and exactly the steps you need to take to get started. Tallulah, no, that's not. Welcome to Brad and Chloe. In this channel, we document our house hack, our whole financial independence journey. We plan on documenting a lot of our journeys in hiking, traveling, backpacking, all that good stuff. So we're really glad you're with us today. Please like, subscribe, comment. In case you missed our first video, go ahead and check it out right here. Just a reminder that we bought this house back in October of 2019, which means that in about August of 2019, we were really starting our journey in looking for this house. So we're going to go through all the steps that we took to find this house and how you can follow along what we did and buy your first house. The first step in all of this is, what do you want, right? There's so many options. There's single family, multi-family. How many bedrooms do you want? How many bathrooms do you want? What kind of configuration do you want? Do you want kind of a duplex where you got side by side, or could you live in the basement and rent out the upper level like we're doing? So there's really lots of options. There's price, there's location, and your agent can help you a lot with this stuff if you have a good agent, but it really makes the process go a lot smoother if you know what you want right off the bat, right? Because then you can tell your agent, hey, here's what I want, and let's get started. And that'll just make your agent's job a lot easier, and everything will go a lot smoother. I promise, we'll make more content about how to pick a price, how much you can afford, how much you can leverage, and all that in a future video. I understand it seems like a daunting task. There's so many things to consider, but it's really up to you to think, what do I want? And that'll, I promise, just make things go so much easier. The second step is getting pre-approved. This is another really important task because if you don't get pre-approved, you don't really know if you can get the loan. So basically what this entails is you call up a bank, whether it be like a big bank like Wells Fargo or Chase or Citi, or maybe your local bank, which I recommend, and you're like, hey, can I get a loan? And they're going to look at your credit, all the loans you have, maybe like a car loan or other mortgages you have, or maybe you like got a payday loan or something like that. They're going to look at all of that. They're going to go through your history, and they're going to see, is this person worth giving a loan to? Will this person pay us back? This will again make the process go a lot smoother, and it'll make you a much more serious buyer to the seller. When you go to the open house or you make an offer, you'll be like, hey, I got the pre-approved letter, I'm ready to go, I got my agent, let's move on this. And the seller will be like, okay, this person's serious, we can move forward with them, and they'll be much more likely to accept your offer. So back in August, I called 3 lenders and I said, can I get pre-approved? I want to buy a house. And they were more than happy to do my business. So they checked my credit, they went through all my history. I had a credit card for about 2 years at the time, so that really helped. I highly recommend you do that. You gotta have a credit card, you gotta build credit. If you've never had a credit card before, never had a loan, then the bank's gonna be like, who is this person? How do I know they can pay me back? So if you don't have a credit card in your name that you pay off every month, just go get a credit card and make purchases on it. Go buy groceries with it. Don't go buy a car with it, but just make simple purchases with it and pay it off. So that's what they did. They checked my credit, they looked at my history, and this takes all about, I don't know, half an hour if they're serious. It's a pretty quick process, and if they really care, they should get it done within the day. I knew I was going to buy a house about in the $350K range, so just for a little cushion, I said, can I get pre-approved for a $400,000 house? And that worked just fine. Another important thing with this is they'll let you know how much you can put down. So I told them, I was like, hey, I want to put down as little money as possible. How little can I put down? And pretty much unanimously they said 3%, and I said perfect, I can do that. I cannot do 20%, I can probably not even do 5%, but I can do 3%. So that's what I did. I got pre-approved for 3%. They didn't tell me the interest rate yet. Interest rate comes about when you make the offer. So I was still a little interested in that, but it really helped. I got my letters. The letters are good for 90 days, so as long as you can make an offer and get accepted within 90 days, you can get a pre-approval letter, then you're good to go. So you bring that to the seller, and you say, here's my pre-approval letter, boom, you're serious, and they're gonna like that. Step number 3 is to find your team, specifically your lender and your agent. Now, if you want to do some fixes to this house, maybe find a contractor so you can walk through the houses with them. And if there's a full-time rental, maybe find a property manager. But the 2 basic ones I recommend is lender and agent. I had a pretty good advantage with this because I was able to utilize the Lockheed Martin relocation package, which gave me a lot of benefits and I really enjoyed. So thanks, Lockheed Martin. So they gave me access to a real estate agent company. So I just called them up and said, here's the area I'm looking at, here's kind of the price, here's what I want, step number one. And they hooked me up with an agent. And I got really lucky because my agent was awesome. Casey Miller, I'll give you all his contact details. I promise I'm not getting anything in return except maybe he'll like me more for referring you guys. And then once I had my agent Casey, I was like, hey Casey, I'm sure you're local, you got lots of experience in this area. Who's a good lender I should use? And he was like, boom, Mo Robinson. I literally called Mo after work one night, like, I don't know, 5:36. And I was like, hey Mo, it's Bradley. Casey recommended me to you. Can I get pre-approved? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. She just asked me a few questions. I answered them. And then like that night, like maybe 8 or 9 p.m., she had my pre-approval letter. And so I was like, wow, if this lady is willing to work at 8 or 9 p.m. for me, like I know she's serious. And she was a great asset to me during this whole process. So I highly recommend you get a good lender and a good agent at the least. I promise, again, they'll make this whole process go a lot smoother and you can rely on them for their expertise instead of relying on you because you don't have any expertise like I didn't. So you gotta get a good team behind you. Step number 4 is probably where the fun begins because it is start looking for properties. Get out there, go to open houses, ask your agent to take you to showings, go see the properties. Once you get all those preparation steps done, you can start having fun. So your agent, like mine did, will probably send you access to the MLS and you can look through the MLS, you can favorite or dislike properties and that way your agent gets like a better idea of, okay, here's what they're looking for, here's what I know they want, and then again, just makes the whole process easier. The MLS is the multiple listing services and it's basically just this database that agents have access to of all the houses on the market, all the houses for sale. Start filming. So step number 4 basically relies on the previous 3 steps, right? Because you know what you want, you got your pre-approval letter, and you got your team behind you. So you can't rely on your agents to do everything for you. You gotta know what you want, and you gotta find the properties. So what I did is I said, hey Casey, I've been looking, here's the properties I want. So I made a list, let's say 5 addresses I want to see. And then when I had a day off work, like I get off Fridays every now and then, so I'd say, hey Casey, can we do this Friday? Can we see these 5 properties? Can you get the keys? And that's what man, she's strong. So every night, Chloe and I would get on our computers and we'd start looking at the houses in the market. We'd start seeing, okay, here's what's new, here's what's for sale. Maybe this one had a price drop, okay, that's good. So it was really fun and we really got a good idea of all the different areas and the trends going on. And so it was really fun. I mean, it's just like, if you're bored, you like to go on Zillow sometimes like I do. It's basically that. And so it's the fun of home shopping. And you can go to open houses and see these properties by yourself. The only downside is you're not going to get the expertise of your agent being there. You can ask your agent a lot of questions. Okay, how much does this cost to fix? Is this good or bad? Do you see any bad signs here? Is this area good? Oh, look, we're next to a train track. That's another big tip, is that you want an agent who has experience in what you're looking for. So what I'm essentially doing is rental properties, and Casey has experience with rental properties. He has experience renovating things. So it's almost like you're walking through the house with a property manager and contractor. So that was a great advantage. Again, highly recommend you get a good agent. Okay, so once you feel like you've seen enough properties, or maybe you saw one you really like and there's no need to wait, let's just get going. Step number 5 is to make an offer. And this is arguably, at least for me it was, the hardest part about the whole process, is I was like, whoa, holy moly, I'm about to put an offer down on a house. Never done it before. This thing cost $350,000 plus, and I'm 22 and I'm making an offer on it. But I was like, let's just do it, and so we did it. Actually, right down the street, I saw this house where I thought it was a good location, and I liked the house. It was good for house hacking, but there were a few things that I would not have caught if it was not for my team. So, first of all, my agent, Casey, noticed very minuscule details I would not have noticed. In the master bedroom, he saw some sloping and he says, oh, there's probably a foundation issue here, let's stay away. Another big thing, and this is from Chloe, is that in the basement there was the bedroom, and there was a great living area. It was mostly finished, and so I was like, wow, this is awesome. But in order to get to the laundry area, you had to walk through the living area, through the room down there, and then into the laundry room. And at first I was like, it's not a big deal, like we'll just clean up our room when people are doing laundry. But Chloe was like, no, that's a bad idea. We don't want to have roommates or tenants or future tenants having to walk through other people's rooms to get to the laundry room, which I totally agree with now. And so I'm really glad I had a good team behind me during that whole process, because I would not have caught those things. So I was really interested in that one, but my team advised me not to. So I was like, dang, I was really close. I really wanted to make an offer on that one, but I'll hold back. And then actually that night, this house came on the market, and my mom was like, yo, this is right in the area that you were interested in. Why don't you go check it out? There's an open house tomorrow morning. Saturday morning comes, and I'm the first one at the open house. And I pull up. I actually got there before the listing agent got there. Got out of the car, talked to the listing agent, just had like a nice friendly conversation about my background, where I'm from, what my plan is for this place, and that went a long way. Anyway, so I got there before anyone else got here, so I was able to walk this house by myself with no one else here except the listing agent. 10 minutes into this open house, when I got it all to myself, I'm looking around, I'm liking what I'm seeing. There's definitely some value to be added. I mean, it's definitely not fixed up. I could tell the price was below market value, below the averages in this area. And so I was liking what I was seeing so far. And then about 10 minutes in, so many people come, and these are all like, families and just, the average Joe people who want to buy this house and live in it and not house hack like we do. I finished looking at this place, and I go upstairs. I told the selling agent, hey, I'm leaving, but I'm really interested, and I'm gonna make an offer. And so that proved to go a long way, because I put a face on my name. They know who I am when I make that offer. Something I saw with all the people there that seemed really interested is that I almost saw it as defense, because I was like, if all these people are wanting to buy this house, if all these people are here 10 minutes into the open house and really interested, okay, I know this must be a good house because people want to live here, people want to buy here. So I was really happy to see all those people, although it did prove to be some competition in the offering process. So then I tell Casey, hey Casey, I want to make an offer on this place, let's do it. So he writes up the contract, I sign where I need to sign, and boom, I got my offer in. So the next day on Sunday, I hear from Casey, and Casey tells me this house got a lot of offers and there's going to be some competition. Okay, I expected this, it's definitely a seller's market, and definitely a lot of people wanted to buy right now in September. So I offered at the listing price, which was $360,000. And then I learned that the highest bid, the highest offer was $370,000. But, and this is what I was maybe a little bit confused on, but really glad to hear, is that for some reason the seller and the seller's agent really liked me and really wanted to work with me. They thought the whole process would go a lot easier with me. So I was like, okay, I don't know why, but sure, I'll take it. And so kind of leveraging that, I was like, I don't want to go the highest offer because I don't love this place that much, but I do like it, and I think maybe offering around another $5,000 to $7,000 more will make my monthly payment not much more, and I could definitely get a good deal in this area. So that's what I did. I offered $366,000, which ended up being accepted by the seller, and I was under contract Sunday night. So step number 5 really isn't that hard. All it entails is calling up your agent and say, hey, let's make an offer, let's get this contract written. Although I will admit it's probably the scariest because you are making an offer on a house, which as a first-time home buyer, I can totally understand why that'd be pretty scary. Another thing I would note is that you don't want to get too caught up in what's called a bidding war, where you just keep going back and forth with other buyers. This can really artificially increase the value of a house, and you really don't want to do this. I mean, you really got to know your numbers, know how much you're willing to pay, know how much the house is really worth, and don't get caught up in this whole back and forth with other buyers. So it's not bad to make a few counter offers as long as it fits with the numbers that you've predetermined. But you really don't want to get emotionally attached to this house or to really anything investing wise. You want to make sure that you stick to the numbers and you know cash flow, especially if this is a long-term rental / house hack. You want to make sure it sticks to your numbers. Bottom line is you got to be able to walk away when you know it's right or wrong. Step number 6 is to go through escrow. And so this is a long, about usually a 30 to 45 day process. You're going to Tallulah. So this process usually entails that you deposit your earnest money, you get the inspection going, you get the appraisal from the bank, and then you just wait for the loan officers to basically process all the paperwork. It's called underwriting, I think, and so you just gotta wait for that. We'll go through more detail about every step in this process and about how to nail every step and what you can do to crush your due diligence, as they call it. Probably the most exciting part about this whole process, that at least for me, was that I got to see all the numbers involved in the process, exactly what I'd be paying each month, and so I was really excited to see that. So let's walk through the numbers about this purchase. So they're right here. You can see the purchase price was $366,000, which is kind of the middle point that I offered on, leveraging my charm, you know. And the interest rate, this is back in September 2019, before all this illness stuff was going on. I got an interest rate of 3.5%, which I thought was pretty fire, so I was really excited about that. So here is the breakdown of the PITI, which I talked about in my first video, which again, if you haven't seen, go watch it. So the principal and interest, the PI part of PITI is $1,594.20. This is the same payment every month, and the only thing I'll change about it is the ratio between principal and interest. So at first, principal is all the way down here, and interest is super high, but then over the term of the loan, it'll go like this. Year 15, they'll be the same, and then year 30, boom, you're paying off interest. So that's just another part of compound interest that you can take advantage of over those 30 years, is that you're gonna be paying off more principal and less interest, which is awesome. More money in your pocket. Next, property taxes. Here in Colorado in Jefferson County, they're pretty cheap, $130.90. Homeowners insurance through Travelers, I guess, I think, yeah, is $121.33, and the private mortgage insurance, or PMI, is $112.42, and that is a grand total of $1,958.85, the same payment every single month. So anyway, we get the inspection going through, we get a long list, and we'll go through that in another video. I got the appraisal. The appraisal really doesn't require another video, so I'll just tell you right now. Basically, this is independent from the buyer or the seller. The bank just sends out some appraisers that they trust, and they're making sure that the loan that they're giving to you on the property is a good property, that the value of the house is right around the value of the loan. And so I bought the house for $366,000, and the appraisal came back at $370,000. So I was like, cool, $4,000 of equity right there, bought. Wait a few more weeks after the appraisal, you let the loan officers do all their paperwork. Finally, it's time for the last step. Step number 7, the step where finally the house is yours. You get the keys, and that would be closing. Where you get to close in the house, you get to go to the title company, and you get to sign away everything. You get to sign about, I don't know, maybe 30 papers or so. And I don't remember what they all were, but you shouldn't be worried about them. Just make sure your agent and your lender are there, because they will know what you are signing, and they got your best interest in mind. Let's go through an itemized list of everything I had to bring to closing money-wise. So, first, the earnest money, which we'll go through again, but it's basically just a deposit of good faith you do when you first go under contract with the house. That was $4,000, and that is lumped into the down payment. So, if you close on the house, you will get that money back in a way. It goes into the house, and that was $4,000. Which means, because I put 3% down, I gotta pay the rest of that 3% down at closing. So that worked out to be $6,980. So right now we're at 3% of $366,000. I'll do the math for you. It is $10,980. Now, let's talk about all the credits that I got. So, with the inspection, and we'll go through this again, I promise, because there were so many issues with the house, I was basically able, well, I didn't do it, Casey did it, because he's the expert on this. Casey was able to negotiate. I did not pay any closing costs. So this was at least a $4,000 savings for me, and this is huge. I was really happy about this, because I could get that $4,000 and go fix it up on my own. Next, if you remember that relocation package I got through Lockheed Martin, I got $1,800 back at closing because I used Casey. So that was pretty sweet, because Casey helped me out a bunch, and I still got $1,800 back from the relocation company. So thank you for that. Now during escrow, the original closing date was October 9th, so I was really excited, but then I got word, I don't know, September 20th-ish, and Casey told me, hey, the seller needs more time to find where they're going to move to next. Could you push the closing out to October 17th? So I said, fine, I can do that. The only thing is I'm gonna have to spend another week's worth of rent for this Airbnb. So can I please have the seller reimburse me for that, since the original plan was to close on October 9th. So that's what we did. I got $300 back at closing for that week of rent. Yes, $300 a week in Airbnb rent. So if we take all those expenses I listed and then take away all the income or credits I got, we're looking at a grand total of $8,920 all in for what I bought this house for. So that's it. I mean, it's really not that hard. It just takes some work. It can be stressful, it can be scary, but I promise you the first time was the hardest, and I know that next time we do this, we'll be a lot more prepared. So that's all we got for today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. We're really trying to grow this community, and we really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. In the comment section below, please comment on what your favorite part of the process was, or something you found really interesting, or anything in specific that you really want more detail on. Signing off from Brad and Chloe and Tallulah. All right, Tallulah, say bye. Say goodbye. Tallulah, the camera's right there. Here's the microphone. Say goodbye. Okay, thanks.